Good evening aspirants, welcome to daily newspaper analysis brought to you by Shankar IAS Academy. Today's date is 30th December 2024. So we are going to discuss 4 important articles in this news article discussion. The first article is about National Maritime Heritage Complex at Lothal. So this article talks about the National Maritime Heritage Complex which is going to be built in Lothal city. The next article is about ISRO to sign off 2024 with space docking experiment. This article is about the space docking experiment which is being conducted by ISRO. The next article is about Cang project which might help mitigate flood risk posed by China. So this article is about the Cang Multipurpose project which is going to be built in Arunachal Pradesh. Then this article, that is 36% of TB patients in 4 TN districts are migrants. So this article talks about the TB cases in Tamil Nadu, and in this article discussion we are going to discuss the basics of TB disease. So these are the 4 important articles we are going to discuss in this news article discussion. Now let us get into the discussion. Now look at this article. Indian government is constructing a National Maritime Heritage Complex at Lothal in Gujarat. This Lothal was an important port city in Indus Valley civilization. So let us discuss about Lothal and this Maritime Heritage Complex in this news article discussion. See, Lothal is a prominent Indus Valley civilization city and it is a port city situated in present day Gujarat. As we all know, Indus Valley civilization existed between 2600 BC to 1900 BC. This Lothal is situated along the Bhogava river, and this Bhogava river is a tributary of Sabarmati river. So this Bhogava river will flow into Arabian Sea. So thereby the Lothal city, which is located on the mouth of this Bhogava river, have access to Arabian Sea as a port city of Indus Valley civilization. So Lothal is also the world's earliest or world's oldest dockyard. And this Lothal city was divided into 2 parts. One is the upper town and lower town. Upper town is called Citadel and it is a high raised level structures, and there are also streets which are in grid pattern and proper drainage existed in this Lothal. So this is one of the features of Indus Valley civilization, and it is also seen in Lothal city. Due to its importance as a port city and also high trade between Mesopotamian civilization and other parts of the world, this Lothal was called as Manchester of Harappan era. As we saw, the Lothal is an important port city. Now what are the trade happened at Lothal? It is a hub for semi-precious stones like beads, carnelian, agate. The Indus Valley people also traded with the Mesopotamian civilization, that is in Iraq, and also with Egyptian civilization and also with Persia. The trade declined due to the change in course of river. The Bhogava river changed its course, and there is also the silting in dock and reduced maritime activities. So in course of time, the importance of this Lothal as a dockyard or port city declined due to the change in river courses and also due to the silting in dockyard. Now the Lothal is listed as UNESCO's tentative World Heritage Site for its cultural value. So this is about the Lothal city. Now let us discuss about the National Maritime Heritage Complex which was being initiated in Lothal. This National Maritime Heritage Complex is an initiative of Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways. This is to showcase our national maritime heritage and also to preserve India's rich maritime heritage. Now what are the key features of this NMHC? There will be a museum with 14 galleries, and this will showcase maritime history from Harappan era to the present day. There will be also a life-size Lothal city which will give us an experience of ancient maritime activities. So this National Maritime Heritage Museum will be the world's tallest lighthouse museum, and it showcases the evolution of lighthouses and maritime navigation over a period of time in India. There will be also the theme-based parks like maritime naval themes, climate change theme, monuments, adventure and amusement. The coastal state pavilions will showcase maritime heritage of India's coastal states or union territories. This National Maritime Heritage Complex will also include hospitality zone and maritime research institute. Now what is the significance of creating this National Maritime Heritage Complex? This will highlight India's maritime legacy, which is the Lothal's ancient dockyard. It will also promote research, global collaboration in maritime studies. It will attract tourism and also contribute to the economy. There will be more than 25,000 visitors per day once the construction is completed, and this will also lead to creation of more than 22,000 jobs. So thereby it boosts the local development. So this is all about this National Maritime Heritage Complex and about the Lothal city. Now let us discuss an MCQ related to this topic. With reference to Lothal, a National Maritime Heritage Complex, consider the following statements. Lothal is located in present-day state of Gujarat, India. Yes, this statement is correct. The National Maritime Heritage Complex will feature a museum and a cultural center to preserve global maritime heritage. Yes, this statement is also correct. The NMHC aims to showcase India's maritime history and generate employment through tourism. Yes, this statement is also correct. So the correct answer is option D, 1, 2 and 3. Now look at this article. A survey in Tamil Nadu found that 36% of TB patients in 4 districts of Tamil Nadu are migrants. So they are facing challenges like poor housing and lack of documentation. So this TB survey urges us to improve the TB services and give support to meet the India's 2025 elimination goal of TB. Now let us discuss about the basics of TB. TB is an infectious disease caused by bacterium, Mycobacterium tuberculosis. It primarily affects the lungs, but it can also affect other parts of the body. So if it affects the lungs, it is called as pulmonary TB. If it affects other parts of the body like brain, kidney or spine, then it is called as extrapulmonary TB. So this is a difference between pulmonary TB and extrapulmonary TB. So TB can affect even other parts of the body beyond lungs. So please note this is an important information. Now coming to the mode of transmission. TB spreads through air when a person with a pulmonary TB coughs, sneezes, speaks or spits. Only people with active TB can spread the bacteria. The latent TB, which means people with a chronic TB or people with suppressed TB bacterium cannot spread the bacteria. So only the patients with active TB can spread the bacteria. So the latent TB is not contagious. So this is also an important information for prelims exam. Please note this. Now looking at the types of TB. One is latent TB infection and another one is active TB infection. The latent TB means the bacterium remains inactive in the body for the longer period. There will be no symptoms and the person is not contagious. This can develop into active TB if the immune system weakens. So this is the latent TB. Latent TB means the bacterium is present inside the body but it remains suppressed or remains inactive. Only when the immune system gets weakened, the TB bacterium becomes active and becomes an active TB patient. So this is a latent TB. It is very less dangerous because it is also not contagious. Then comes the active TB, which is in which the bacterium is very active and it multiplies rapidly. So it is also contagious and the symptoms appear very clearly. So this is a latent TB and this is an active TB. This is the two types of TB disease. Now coming to the symptoms of TB, persistent cough more than 2 weeks and coughing up blood or sputum. There will be chest pain, fatigue and weakness, fever and even night sweats and unintended weight loss. There will be also the loss of appetite. So these are some of the important symptoms of active TB. As I have said earlier, there will be no symptom for latent TB. Now what are the risk factors for TB? See, close contact with someone who has active TB is a major risk factor. So the patients with active TB should avoid being in contact with healthy persons. The weakened immune system is also another risk factor for getting TB. The weakened immune system may also happen due to HIV infection or diabetes or malnutrition or chemotherapy. So these conditions may weaken the immune system and this weakened immune system is a major hub for TB bacteria. So living in overcrowded or poorly ventilated areas are also a risk factor for TB. Migrants or refugees from the areas with a high TB prevalence may transmit TB. Tobacco and alcohol use are also a risk factor for TB infection. So these are the major risk factor for getting TB. Now talking about the treatment. The treatment for TB depends on whether you have latent TB infection or active TB disease. If you have latent TB infection, the preventive therapy to prevent the infection from becoming active is enough. This usually involves taking one medication for 6 to 9 months. For example, the medication is isoniazid. So isoniazid refers to the medication for latent TB infection. Now about the active TB disease, there will be combination of antibiotics for 6 to 12 months. The most common treatment for active TB is combination of 4 antibiotics. One is isoniazid, rifampin, pyrazinamide and ethambutol. So these antibiotics are used to treat active TB disease. So this is about the treatment. Now let us look about the government initiatives to prevent TB. The first important initiative is National TB Elimination Program, that is NTEP. It was launched in 1997. Previously it was known as the National TB Control Program and it was renamed to National TB Elimination program in 2020. The goal of this program is to eliminate TB in India by 2025, which is 5 years ahead of global target 2030. This global target 2030 elimination is set by WHO, but India sets the target of eliminating TB by 2025. Now, what are the key components of this TB elimination program? The first one is universal access to free TB diagnosis and treatment. The next one is use of advanced diagnostic tools like CBNAT and TrueNAT. So these are diagnostic tools for TB. The next one is decentralized care through directly observed treatment short course, that is DOTS centers. So these centers are for caring the TB patients. Then addressing comorbidities like HIV and diabetes. So these are the important components of this national TB elimination program. The next one is Nikshay Ecosystem. This Nikshay Ecosystem consists of two components. One is Nikshay Portal, which is a digital platform for TB patient management, and another one is Nikshay Poshan Yojana. This is financial support of 500 per month for nutritional needs of TB patients. So this 500 per month will be direct benefit transfer to the patient's bank account. So this is about the Nikshay ecosystem, and it consists of a digital platform called Nikshay Portal and also has financial support of Nikshay Poshan Yojana. Now let us discuss an MCQ related to this topic. Consider the following statements. TB is an infectious disease caused by bacterium Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Now look at the second statement. It can only affect the pulmonary system and cannot affect any other body parts. The statement is clearly wrong because TB can also affect other parts of the body. Now look at the third statement. Both latent and active TB are contagious. No, this is also incorrect. Only the active TB is contagious and latent TB is not contagious. So the correct answer is option A, 1 only. With this, let us conclude the discussion and move to the next news article. Now look at this article. ISRO is conducting a space docking experiment, that is SpaceX. This is set to launch two spacecraft. One is Chaser and another one is Target. So this will be launched through PSLV C-60. So this is the news given here. This mission will test critical docking technology, which is a milestone for India's future space infrastructure. This includes orbit refueling, assembly and crewed missions like Gaganyaan and space station plants. So this is an important experiment for ISRO, and this is happening today, December 30. So in this context, let us discuss the basics of ISRO. ISRO was established in 1969 under the leadership of Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. Its headquarters is in Bengaluru. Previously, Department of Space under Government of India handled the space plans and actions of India. The establishment of ISRO is to harness the space technology for national development and scientific exploration and also for the planetary research. Now looking at the historical background, in 1960s there is formation of National Committee for Space Research, that is INCOSPAR, which laid the foundation for ISRO. In 1975, the launch of Aryabhatta satellite, which is India's first satellite, and it is launched using a Soviet launcher. In 1976, the satellite instructional television experiment, that is SITE experiment, it revolutionized education and communication in rural India. Then in 1980s, India's first indigenously built launch vehicle, that is SLV-3, was successfully used and it placed a satellite in the orbit. So this is about the historical background and the evolution of ISRO. Now let us see about the organizational structure of ISRO. Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, Satish Dhawan Space Center, U.R. Rao Satellite Center. These are the three important satellite space centers for ISRO. The Vikram Sarabhai Space Center focuses on launch vehicle development. The Satish Dhawan Space Center focuses on the spaceport for launching the satellites. U.R. Rao Satellite Center focuses on design and building the satellites. So these are the three important space centers for ISRO. ISRO also had two commercial arms. One is Antrix Corporation and another one is New Space India Limited, that is NSIL. This Antrix Corporation is a marketing wing of ISRO which markets the ISRO's technologies and services for international. The New Space India Limited, that is NSIL, promotes the private participation and commercial exploitation of space assets in India. So Antrix Corporation and New Space India Limited are two commercial arms of ISRO. Now looking at the major achievements of ISRO. INSAT series, GSAT series. INSAT series was established in 1983 and it is one of the largest communication satellite series in Asia Pacific. The GSAT series boosts communication and it also improves broadcasting and internet connectivity across India. So INSAT series is for the communication satellites and GSAT series is for broadcasting and internet connectivity. Now looking at the launch vehicle development of ISRO, the most important one is PSLV, Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. It is known as ISRO's workhorse. It has completed over 50 successful launches. It is used for deploying satellites in polar and sun-synchronous orbits. The next one is GSLV. It is equipped with indigenously developed cryogenic engine and it carries heavier payloads compared to PSLV. It is used for deploying satellites in geostationary orbits. The next one is RLV, that is Reusable Launch Vehicle. It is aimed at reducing the cost of access to space. It is in the state of development in ISRO. It successfully demonstrated autonomous landing technology in recent experiments. So this is about the important launch vehicles of ISRO, that is PSLV, GSLV and RLV. Now looking at the interplanetary missions of ISRO. ISRO has sent satellites to Mars and Moon. For Moon we have sent Chandrayaan 1, 2 and 3, and for Mars ISRO has sent Mangalyaan. It is the first Asian country to reach Mars orbit on its maiden attempt. Chandrayaan 3 is the first successful soft landing on Moon's south pole. Now about the space observation and navigation. We have two important satellites. One is AstroSat, which is launched in 2015. It is India's first multi-wavelength space observatory. Then NavIC, it is a regional satellite navigation system and it is providing accurate positioning for India. Now looking at the current initiatives of ISRO. One is Aditya L1. It is India's first solar orbitary mission to study the solar activities and its impact on space weather. The next one is Gaganyaan mission. It is aimed to send Indian astronauts into space by 2025 this year. The next one is space docking experiment, that is SpaceX, which we have seen in the news article. It is testing the space docking technologies to enable future in-orbit refueling and assembly. So this is a docking experiment which is being conducted by ISRO. And the next one is Bharatiya Antariksha Station. ISRO is planning to establish an independent space station by 2035. Then India Space Policy 2023. This space policy encourages the private sector participation in space technology and it also defines the roles for ISRO, NSIL and InSpace. So this is about the recent initiatives regarding ISRO. Now let us discuss an MCQ related to this topic. With reference to India's satellite launch vehicles, consider the following statements. Look at the first statement. PSLV launch satellites are useful for Earth resources monitoring, whereas GSLV are designed mainly to launch communication satellites. This statement is correct. Now look at the second statement. Satellites launched by PSLV appear to remain permanently fixed in the same position in sky as viewed from particular location on Earth. This statement is incorrect. GSLV Mark III is 4-stage launch vehicle with the first and third stages using solid rocket motors, second and fourth stages using liquid rocket engines. This statement is also incorrect. The correct answer is option A, one only. So with this, let us conclude the discussion and move to the next news article. Now look at this article. The article highlights that Arunachal Pradesh CM is supporting for 1.13 lakh crore Cang Upper Multipurpose Project. So this Cang Upper Multipurpose Project is aimed at mitigating the flood risk from China's mega dam. So China is going to build a mega dam in Brahmaputra and India should build a dam, that is the Cang Upper Multipurpose Project, which should mitigate the flood from the dam which is going to be built on Brahmaputra. So the project seeks to regulate the river flow and prevent flooding and also safeguard the communities. But there is a strong opposition from local communities due to displacement and environmental concerns. So what is this Cang Upper Multipurpose Project and why it is being built by the Arunachal Pradesh government? Let us discuss briefly in this discussion. Firstly, about the purpose of Cang Upper Multipurpose Project. See, China is going to build a mega dam on Brahmaputra river. So if the China suddenly releases water from this mega dam, this will create flooding in Arunachal Pradesh. So in order to create a buffer against the sudden water releases from China's dam in Brahmaputra river, so we are going to build a multi-purpose project. So this will reduce the flood risk in Arunachal Pradesh, Assam and also for Bangladesh. So flood mitigation is one of the major purpose of this project. The next one is water flow regulation. See, the multi-purpose project, which is the Cang multi-purpose project, will maintain the Cang River natural flow throughout the year. So this will ensure water availability during the dry season also. Another important purpose is hydropower generation. See, the secondary objective with the installed capacity of over 11,000 megawatt is going to contribute for India's energy security. So the hydropower generation is also an important aim of this project. The next one is national security. This project will also address the potential risk from China's hydropower projects and water diversion plans. So this will ensure India's strategic interest in this region. So we have four important purposes for building this project. One is flood mitigation, second one is water flow regulation, third one is hydropower generation, and fourth one is national security. So these are the four purposes of this building this project. Now there are many concerns from the local communities for building this project. One is displacement. See, the potential relocation of communities dependent on the Cang River for generation will be displaced. So they are protesting for this project. And the next important concern is environmental impact. There will be loss of biodiversity and changes to the natural flow of the river, and also changes to the ecosystem surrounding the river. So the environmental impact is also a major concern for this project. And the next one is China's action. The risk from water diversion from China will reduce the Cang's river flow, especially during the winter season. So this will pose a risk for the flow of water in the Cang river. This Cang river is actually a part of Brahmaputra basin. So as I said earlier, this Cang river, the multipurpose project will be built on the Cang river in order to prevent the actions of China, who is going to build a dam in the upstream of the Cang river. So above the Cang river, that is above Arunachal Pradesh, in Tibet, the China is going to build a dam, and we are going to build a dam to mitigate the effects of China's dam. So this is what this project is about, and there are many concerns, and the local communities are also protesting for this project. Let us see how well this goes. Now let us discuss this MCQ. The Cang river originates from which of the following regions before entering Arunachal Pradesh? So the Cang river originates in Tibetan Plateau. With this, let us conclude the discussion. If you like the video, please share it with your friends and don't forget to subscribe to Shankar IAS Academy YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.